Welcome, everyone. Thank you for spending your lunch hour or call time with us today. On behalf of Impact Austin, I'm Rebecca Birch, and I'd like to welcome you to our membership information session today. We appreciate you spending your time with us. Before I introduce our speakers, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about me and my journey to Impact Austin. I currently serve as an elected board member of the Del Valle ISD School Board, where I also currently serve as the president. And I have worked in my community. I've lived in my community for almost 21 years and worked in my community for 20 years and have always tried to do and impact the community as much as I can. I followed Impact Austin for years now and always kept thinking, well, I'll do it next year. I'll do it next year. As soon as my son's older, I'll do it. As soon as my son gets out of high school, I'll do it. Well, he's finally out of high school. He started college, and I thought today is the day I can spend time and work on it, work and being part of Impact Austin. And I have to say, my only regret is that I didn't start earlier. The work that Impact Austin does so impacts my community. I had no idea how much it impacted my community, how many of the partners that Impact Austin works with impact my community, but also the networking and the growth that you can have within it. I joined Impact Austin just this year in May, and I've already seen such a tremendous impact in my life and the work that I'm doing and the work that I can do for my community. So I am so grateful to be here today as part of Impact Austin, as part of the Del Valle ISD community, and as part of the community that is impacted by Impact Austin. For those of you that are not aware, Impact Austin is a local collective giving women's philanthropy group. Basically what it is that we work to pull our money together so that all of the need that is out there and all of the efforts that are out there, we're able to take all of that and put it into one place and have thoughtful, intentional, and impactful giving as one collective whole, as opposed to individuals trying to find the right place to give and making sure that their money, the small amount that they can give is impactful to the group. You can pull your money together and we can amplify that as a community, joining others to make sure that we're doing the informed, intentional, and thoughtful giving, which I think now, when there's so much need in the community, is so important to make sure that our giving is impactful, but also intentional and very thoughtful in how we're doing it. And so to date, we've donated over $7.6 million to Central Texas nonprofits. And we do that one member at a time. We want to thank our past and current members, and we hope that many of you will join us. We'll have a little bit more information about how you can join us later in this session. But know that if you're looking for somewhere to get involved, know that if you like me are trying to figure out where you can make the most impact in this growing need in our community, Impact Austin can be that for you. Impact Austin can make sure that your dollars are going and they're maximized and that you're making the most effort that you can. Without further ado, I'd like to get to our webinar and introduce our attendees. First, I want to remind attendees that they can use the Q&A function at the bottom of their screens to ask and to submit any questions. We will answer them and try to get to as many of them as we can at the end of the session. We will be posting our video on our Impact Austin events page, and we are recording today's session both through this as well as on Facebook Live. Our esteemed guests today, and it is definitely my pleasure to introduce our esteemed guests today, are from Austin Batcave. And before I introduce Richard and Tammy, I want to say this is one of those organizations that I was mentioning. Austin Batcave has made such a tremendous impact in Del Valle ISD. They've been partners with Del Valle in working to make sure that our students learn new and creative forms to express themselves, that they're looking at writing and reading and being a part of that community and how they can use that to further not only their education, but themselves personally. They connect with local writers, musicians, and artists so that our students can learn from them. And they're a true partner in the sense that they work to find members in our community to volunteer with our students, which is so critical for our students to have individuals that are in the community that look like them, that are partnering and that they're learning from. And their Batmobile has traveled to our campuses quite often, and I know that our students love it immensely. And so I would love to introduce you to our two new speakers and the amazing work that they're doing and have them share more about it. Richard Santos has a degree in English and history from UT Austin and an MA in English from Georgetown University and an MFA in creative writing from Texas State University. He taught nearly every English class and elective from grades 8 through 12 and most of the social studies courses. Trust Me, his debut novel, was published by Arte Publico Press. In a previous career, he worked for some of the nation's top political campaigns, consulting firms, and labor unions. I also want to introduce Tammy Beard. Tammy earned a BBA from Texas A&M University and MS in psychology from Texas Tech University. Before joining Austin Batcave, Tammy served as the Director of Development at 826 CHI. She is passionate about the ways that nonprofit development can make real changes in the community by helping organizations grow stronger and fulfill their missions. And it is my pleasure to now turn it over to Richard to share more about his amazing organization.
Thank you very much, Rebecca, and thank you to all of the Impact Austin members and to Christina, Nicole, and Audra specifically for having us here today. I'm excited to talk to you about Austin Batcave and our Batmobile. You can see my background here is, I'm not actually on the bus, it's my virtual background, but this is just a window into our Batmobile, which I will be showing you more of here while we talk. Let me get my presentation going. Thank you very much again to Impact Austin. Your support helped make this Batmobile possible. And we've brought a lot of joy and a lot of educational wonder to students in Del Valle and in the surrounding communities. So thank you again. So I'm gonna give you just kind of like an overview of what Austin Batcave is, and then talk about the bus, the reasoning behind it, and show you a bunch of pictures of the bus, because that's really the best part of it. So at Austin Batcave, we really believe that everyone is a writer. We're a creative community, and our goal is to reach out to young people especially, but also more and more adults, to help them find their voices, to help them tell their stories. Well, when you watch students, and this was true when I was a high school teacher, it's true in Austin Batcave, when you watch a young person find their voice, when you watch them express themselves through writing, it's really powerful. It's powerful for them, and it's powerful for you as a teacher. It's powerful for the whole community. And this is what Austin Batcave does. We use creative writing in order to help demystify writing, reading, language, all of it. We were founded in 2007. Our founder, S. Kirk Walsh, her debut novel just came out earlier this year. I hope you all check it out. It's called The Elephant of Belfast. And yet we provide free creative and expository writing workshops to schools and to youth mostly between the ages of 6 and 18 in Austin, Manor, and Del Valle. And the free part is really important there. Now, our programs don't cost our students anything. They don't cost the families anything. They don't cost the schools anything as well. It was important for Austin Batcave to reach out to Title I schools and to nonprofits that are really like working with students who really, really need it. So other youth-oriented nonprofits we work with regularly are Out Youth, CASA, Girl Forward. We've done programs at Giddings State School, Gardner Betts Juvenile Detention Facilities, and many more. We've got a great selection of volunteers. I hope some of the Impact Austin members out there will join us as a volunteer. Writers, professional writers and artists and musicians and poets, of course, like Rebecca was saying, but also just professionals, teachers, students, people who just want to work with kids and help them get better at their writing, who are committed to supporting youth voices. So, let me highlight our anthology. Every year, we gather the student work from the previous year and publish it in a beautiful anthology. We also publish chapbooks and feature different writers on our social media, but our anthology is really the cornerstone of our publishing program. This is this year's anthology. It's called Pandemic's Labyrinth. It's a beautiful book. The cover was designed by our friends at Lewis Carnegie. It's a really exciting book, and when students see their work in print in anything, they get really excited. But I've seen it in person, the reaction when students see their writing in this beautiful book with this beautiful cover. It's got a fun, like, choose your own adventure theme kind of happening. There's other surprises in it. It's a beautiful book, and this is really the culmination of our work each year. It comes out every summer, and I'll tell you how you can get one of those a little bit later. Okay, so a couple of years ago, the board and the staff of Austin Batcave hatched an idea for a mobile program. And this is what Impact Austin allowed us to do. Move in a new direction and reach communities that had long been underserved. So the mobile program was created to bridge that divide between Austin's metropolitan area and the really fast growing and quickly changing rural and suburban communities, especially to our east. So we bought an old Cap Metro Access bus. That's the great Ollie Hayter, our former executive director, and still all around patron saint of Austin Batcave. There he is picking it up on the Cap Metro lot. Good bus, solid bus, needed some work. Here's a picture from the inside after we had already started to rip out some of the seats and some of the stuff in the interior. We partnered with local artists and designers to reimagine what the inside of this bus looks like. So there's a kind of rough draft version of it. And this is a picture of a panoramic picture of what the bus looks like now. It's a beautiful, magical, inspiring place. You know, Austin Batcave wanted students to walk into the bus and immediately feel like they were taken somewhere else, to kind of have their like breath taken away a little bit because they were just so excited about where they were. Because this is definitely not like any place else. Well, let's just look at a little bit of the details here. We have tons of books in the Batmobile. We usually are giving away books whenever we're meeting with students as well. So it's supposed to be a beautiful space to foster creativity, but also sometimes a sense of calmness. It's a great place to sit and read. We also have all sorts of hidden kind of like secrets throughout the bus. You can see in that photo that kind of like curled up piece of paper. It's a writing prompt. So throughout the bus are stashed little different like prompts. You write about things that scare you. You're given quotes or pictures and you react to it. It's a comfortable space. We've got cushions, got some nice chairs. Students really like being in the bus. And support from Impact Austin and the St. David's Foundation allowed that to be possible, and to hire local writer Leticia Urieta, who's our regional program manager. Dedicated to serving Del Valle and the surrounding areas. That is her community. That is where she is working. Those are the schools that Leticia focuses on. They love her out there and she loves being out there. We do a lot on the bus. The bus has a lot of different uses. Teachers, at first we had developed a program with Del Valle Elementary Schools where campuses could basically have the bus for like a month and it would just live on their campus, and teachers would get trained on how to access the bus, how to turn on the solar batteries and all of that, so that they can lead general writing workshops out there, so that they can take the class out there. After school workshops happen on the bus all the time. It's a really good space for small group instruction, especially any kind of intervention. If you can get students that have any kind of like hesitancy around reading or writing, get them out of their comfort zone, get them someplace that they're comfortable, both like literally comfortable, as you can see, but also just kind of emotionally like feeling safe, then writing's less scary. It's a little bit more fun and you can reach them. We've also have pivoted in the past year, of course, to using the bus more for community drop-ins, book donations. We appear to farmers markets, have dropped off hundreds and hundreds of books to various communities and other organizations. Since March of last year, you know, the bus classes haven't been in session, so the bus hasn't been on those campuses, but we've been still trying to find ways to get it out in the community and bring some joy where it goes. Because students love it. It's a great place. They have fun. A lot of them say that they could stay there forever. At our most recent drop-in, a student said that when they grew up, they wanted to make sure that they were going to build a bus themselves. That way they and their friends could always have a place to read and hang out. But in the past 6 months, we've had to do things a little bit differently. The bus has been able to get back out there. We have reached out to some students. We have gotten some kids on the bus. And we've done a good job of still trying to like just spread the joy at least as much as we can. Specifically, just a couple months ago, the bus was a centerpiece for the launch party for our 2021 anthology. It's a real book release. Students whose work was featured in the anthology were able to come out and meet us on a park on the east side, get a copy of their book, get some coffee or donuts that were donated by local businesses. and just see the bus one more time. One thing that we did was, if you were one of the young writers who appeared in the book, we took your author photo in front of the bus and then featured it on in our newsletter, on our social media channels, and so on and so forth. These students love these photos. They're getting them printed. Their families are responding when we post them on Instagram or Twitter, because they're real writers, and stuff like this makes them feel like real writers. This is most of the staff at that anthology launch party. So what's next for Austin Batcave and for the Batmobile? Right now, we're doing virtual in-school and after-school programs. We're going to go back in person in the spring, if it is safe to do so. One new direction that I'm excited for the potential is Austin Batcave increasing some of our academic help. You know, the creativity, poetry, expressive writing is always going to be at the core of Batcave's mission. But, you know, I as a former high school English teacher, I know that creative writing can be the way that you start students down that path to more confident academic writing. You know, help students express themselves through personal writing, and then they see the value of it. Then they can do better on English essays, then they can do better on EOCs, and so on. Austin Batcave started an adult program about 2 years ago. We have paid adult seminars. Those are great cornerstones of the program now, because those programs aren't free for adults. If they want to take a class with national and local best-selling writers, yeah, you're gonna have to pay a couple dollars, but that money goes directly into our youth programs, and that helps. We're already working on our 14th anthology for next year. And you know, if there's a silver lining to the bus not seeing as much action for the past year, it's that we were able to get some much needed repairs done and maintenance on the Batmobile, because buses are expensive, is something we've discovered. So we've got some new tires on there, we've got some new solar batteries, and more. I'd love to tell you all really quickly before I hand it over to Tammy on how you can help Austin Batcave. You know, just honestly and bluntly, donations are always vital. We're a small nonprofit. We're a staff of 6. Not all of us are full time. So every dollar helps make sure that we can maintain our existing programs and even expand. We're always hearing from other schools, other programs, other community partners looking for, you know, help. And we do as much as we can, but we're still constrained by our resources. If you stop by our shop, austinbatcave.org/shop, you can pick up a copy of our anthology and some of our other merchandise. We partnered with Out Youth on a line of Pride-themed Batcave like pins and stickers and magnets, and that's the proceeds from that go to support Out Youth as well. Like I said, reach out if you're interested in volunteering, or if you're interested in signing up for an adult seminar. I included just a quick screenshot there of our upcoming classes. We have one-day classes, we have multi-week workshops. We've got a lot of interesting stuff going on. We're about to start reading groups where we're going to tackle some classic works of literature, like To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. And if you're interested in seeing more about the bus, you can go to this bit.ly. It is case sensitive, so it's bit.ly/batcavebus. And you can have a virtual tour that kind of goes into more detail on what's actually on the bus. So I will say, please reach out. That's my email address, richard@austinbatcave.org. I'd love to hear from any Impact Austin members about any sort of potential partnerships, in-kind donations, or any just adult or youth programming ideas. We're part of the community, and we love it when we hear from actual community members. So if you have questions or just want to talk about what we do, please shoot me an email, richard@austinbatcave.org. There'll be time for questions a little bit later, but I also want to hand it over to Tammy, who is an Impact Austin member and our great, of course, grants and foundations manager. Thanks for being here, Tammy. Go ahead, take it away.
Thanks so much, Richard. Kind of took me down memory lane talking about all that. Hello, Impact Austin. I'm honored to be here, and I hope you can hear me okay. So I was actually with Austin Batcave when we were awarded the Impact Grant, and I think that like they want me to speak to y'all as like the kind of experience being an Impact member is, and I want y'all to know the kind of impact your giving made on Austin Batcave. And I think impact is the correct word. It completely launched our mobile program in a way that when we got out to Del Valley, we had a bus and we had a manager and we had the programs and we could do the community building that's so needed to be a part of a community. And I think that I want to emphasize the importance of the collective giving, and that $1,000 or the $1,200 that y'all donate can make this transformative change on an organization. We went from being just kind of a small organization to becoming just this very strong, well-funded nonprofit. And what happened was that we had that $100,000 donation, which launched a program in a rural area in Austin, which is a very kind of becoming more of a focus area for funders. And so we had our mobile program, which brought in new funders. And because we had this mobile program up and running, we were able to apply for and receive a St. David's grant, which was for 2 years, $100,000 each. And so there's just this kind of snowballing effect that happened with us because of the funding. So as members, y'all make a very big difference. I think, I don't know what else, like as a member, I've been just so impressed by the ladies that are part of this. I was a part of the grant review committee the first year, and the second year was at the beginning, but I didn't see it all the way through. But it was it was like professional development for me. Because I'm the grants person at Austin Batcave, and it was just so informative for me to be on the other side of things and to see the way that Impact Austin carried through the process in such a professional and efficient way and a caring way. I think that the way they do it, y'all hone in on the strengths of an organization. There's a finance piece of it there are some people with financial backgrounds who look at the 990s and the accounting of organizations, which is super important if you're donating money to an organization and there's this huge influx of funding, that you want to be sure that they are set up and are ready to hit the ground running. I hope I'm still here. Okay. So I guess that's it. I do better with questions. So if y'all have questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Perfect. Thank you, Tammy. And thank you, Richard. I want to remind everyone, if you have questions for either Tammy or Richard, please, you can put them in the Q&A. We also have somebody who's monitoring on Facebook Live that can share questions as well. I have a quick question. Richard, you had mentioned that you were always looking for volunteers. What kind of activities could a volunteer kind of think to participate? What type of things would be optional for them if they were interested in signing up?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So we'll do a volunteer orientation several times a year when we'll walk people through the history of Austin Batcave a little bit and kind of hear from the volunteers about why they're there and what they would like to do. But really, you know, the end goal is teaching a class, and that can happen pretty quickly. We'll have some trainings, some guidance on how to do that. You know, we have curriculums already built for some programs that we can basically work with you to help make sure that you understand that curriculum based on your interests. You know, so like we'll show you a list of here are the upcoming programs. Do any of these stand out to you? Poetry, apocalyptic writing, Dungeons and Dragons. We're doing a Selena workshop this fall for the first time. Food writing, you know, so writing about your community, whatever the schedule is for that semester. Help make sure you understand that curriculum. But a lot of our volunteers quickly get to the point where they're building their own curriculum, where they have their own ideas, where they're bringing in their own readings. You know, we really encourage our volunteers to take ownership of it. You know, we're never going to give you like a script, like here's what you have to say word for word, but we'll work with you to make sure you feel comfortable, and then eventually hope that you can take it from there and come up with your own programs.
Wonderful, thank you. And just a follow up to that, do you have to have an English or a teaching background, even if you provide those, or can anyone volunteer?
Yeah, no, definitely. Anyone can volunteer. You know, I think we probably lean a lot of the people who come to us have background in writing and reading in various ways. But we take anybody who's interested in working with students. There are other ways to volunteer too. We always need help with our anthology. Hopefully sometime soon we'll need help with in-person events and things like that. But yeah, we welcome everybody.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Typically, how many classes do you have in a year?
Let's see, for our adult programs, which I know we're mostly talking about the youth programs, but for our adult programs, we'll probably end up with probably 30 to 40 different seminars or workshops. Brings in great writers, great community that builds around those. For our youth workshops, we're probably looking at around 80 or so, and that's spread out over the fall semester, spring semester, and usually two summer sessions. And that ranges everywhere from week-long camps over summer, week-long op-ed writing camp over spring break, to quick drop-ins. You know, maybe a school or a partner might want us to come out for 3 weeks in a row, and we'll build a program around then. I'm going to help lead a 3-session sports writing program built around Austin FC here in October. So some of our programs are quick, maybe just one Saturday, one weekend night, whereas others, especially the ones we work with the schools, end up being longer multi-week programs.
Well, that sounds exciting. I don't have any more questions on. Is there anything else that you would like to share, either Tammy or Richard, with the audience?
I did want to mention that Austin Batcave has recently been working toward developing relationships with companies and corporations in the community. And so if there are any members who are interested, like they work somewhere and they think that like the people they work with would be interested in a workshop or some kind of volunteer opportunity with us, to reach out to us. We would love to. We've talked about just kind of perhaps putting together an adult writing workshop that might engage employees and be a bit of a team building experience and a way to kind of see how our workshops are done with the kids. So would love to hear from anybody out there who's interested in that, or just maybe connecting us to their company if they think that their company mats are interested in our mission and what we do.
Wonderful, thank you. I did have another two extra questions come in. One is, do you have any upcoming projects right now? I know you mentioned the FC Bold and anything else. Is there any other upcoming projects that you would like to share with the group?
Yeah, we're going to be hosting we think we're going to do one in-person adult reading in early November. We're going to partner with San Antonio's Gemini Inc. They're going to bring up a couple San Antonio writers. We'll have a couple Austin writers. Details are still in the works, but I think that'll be a fun night to kind of try to bring those two very literary cities together a little bit more. I think that, you know, come back and check out our website if you're curious about any programs for your own students in your life, or for the spring as well. You know, if you shoot me an email, we'll be able to get you on like our email list so that you get a sense of the schedule and what's coming up.
Perfect. And then one last question. How did the idea for the Batmobile come about? You shared what the Batmobile is and how you kind of modeled the bus, but how did the idea come about?
Yeah, I'll let Tammy maybe take this.
Okay, it actually was board members and our ED. So it shows what how it helps to have an infusion into the staff for ideas. And I think they were just having a conversation. And what was happening was that we originally were trying to put together an on-site program at our Austin Bat Cave space. And what we learned as we just reached out to the community is that was not what was needed. It was, and we were just kind of getting the feeling that there were just areas outside of Austin that were really needing services for support of reading and writing. And so they just came up, I think it was over dinner, and they were just talking and they came up with, hey, you know, what about and somebody came up with the name Batmobile. And so that's how it came about. Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. I love it. And yes, there is a lot of need outside of where just
Yeah,
normal traditional thought is. And
right.
that is one of the things that I really love about Impact Austin is that they're really trying to meet that need, to partner with organizations that help meet that need.
Hmm.
Um, I just want to thank you guys so much. Thank you for everything that you do in the community, specifically my community. Selfishly, I want to say thank you so much publicly for what you've done for the students that I have an honor to serve. And I appreciate all of the work that you do. Thank you for being here today and sharing with
Sure.
us the amazing work you're doing. I just want to throw another shout out and say, if you're interested, I'm sure that Richard and Tammy would love to have you there, have you volunteering. And if you're looking for a way to get more involved in the community and kind of like I was and looking for where can I make the most difference? Where can I get involved? I encourage you, join Impact Austin. Impact
Yeah.
Austin can help you find that need. You find a network. You get to work with wonderful people like Christina and Tammy and meet people like Richard, myself, and you get to be a part of something much larger while helping the community.
I
So
agree.
I really just encourage you to consider it if you've and don't wait like I did. There isn't a perfect time. Let me explain that. There isn't a perfect time to join Impact Austin except for today. Today is the perfect time. You can be a part of that. I'll turn it over and say, I think Christina, if you want to, you'll be sharing more information if you want to take that step and be a part of it. I just want to say thank you to Impact Austin for allowing me to be a part of this, and to Richard and Tammy again for all the work that you do.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, Richard, Tammy. You inspired us today. I think you've inspired us to think creatively and really think outside the box when it comes to solutions. And that's one thing with Impact Austin. You learn a ton about the community needs, but really positive, and what's so hopeful is you also learn about solutions in the community and some of the organizations that are working really hard to bring services out into the community. So thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Richard. And now's the moment where I ask you to go to impactaustin.org, click on membership, click on join. If you are already a member, click on renew. The more members we have, the more dollars go out in the community and more lives that we impact. I really encourage you today to check out our monthly payment option. We have a monthly payment option. You can either pay the $1,250 in lump sum, or you can break that up over 12 months. So the barrier to entry, we've lowered it, and we'd love for you to join us, even for a month or two, just to get a feel for our organization. I am incredibly grateful for Nicole Genovese and Audra Morris. Nicole is the office manager with Impact Austin. She is doing a lot of the work behind the scenes, and she's also a really great contact if you're interested in joining. So you can reach out to Nicole at impactaustin.org. I also would like to thank Audra Morris, who is Impact Austin's membership chair. Audra joined Impact Austin during the pandemic, actually joined us, found us online, and has really gotten engaged because of her experience with Impact Austin. She is spreading the word and getting more and more people involved. So I really encourage everyone, go online, join Impact Austin. And once you've completed that form, go back to our website and check out all of our upcoming educational events, information events, social engagement events. We want to see you. We want to meet you. You get to interact with incredible members and your colleagues. We themed this back to school event, and we've got a couple other education themed events, because so often what I hear when women join Impact Austin, it's just like Rebecca, they've been wanting to do it for years, but their kids are finally graduated or out of the house, or old enough that they've got a little bit more flexibility in their scheduling. And most, I think, poignantly is the women that tell me that for the first time, especially after their kids graduate, that they really feel like for the first time in their lives, they've been able to get involved in the community in a really meaningful way, because that they want to, specifically, the words I hear is they want to make friends beyond just the parents of their kids' friends. So if you are inspired today, if you're one of those folks out there who has some time available, or really just has some resources available, get involved with Impact Austin, impactaustin.org. I thank our speakers again. I thank our fabulous Impact Austin leaders again, and I hope to see you at an upcoming Impact Austin event. So thank you again, and see you on the internet.